Will it blend? That is the question.
You've seen it on TV and the internet. The video series that got people talking about that guy who sticks crazy things in a blender.
Baseball season. Light sticks. Hockey pucks. I'm going to blend my driver. $40 pens. Do you ever get those annoying Valentine's gifts and you don't know what to do with them? One of our fans has asked us to blend magnets. Toy cars. I love my iPod, but I'm ready for the latest. So out with the old, in with the new. Now that is a lantern. Now you know what I want for Christmas.
Now you can own the same technology used by professionals all over the world, the Total Blender. With 1,500 watts, a patented jar, and smart touch technology, the Total Blender is the answer to all of your blending needs.
That's right. Now, have you ever tried to make a delicious smoothie using real fruit and ice, and then in the same machine knead fresh bread dough? And what do you want to put on that bread? Throw some peanuts in and make some fresh peanut butter.
Oh, you're speaking my language. Or get this, imagine making fresh, hot soup or fresh, cold ice cream right out of the same blender.
Sounds good, and it sounds amazing? Well, it is, and it's possible with the Blendtec Total Blender.
My husband has an ailment that required us to blend our foods. I have several friends who indicated that they use a Blendtec, and so that's what we've gone to.
I love milkshakes, and so we've made lots of milkshakes. You don't have to use a spoon and stir it up and get the right consistency. It just automatically did it. I was amazed, and after I used it and noticed how it worked, I've loved it.
The first time I heard about the Blendtec was through a friend of mine, and she was making a lot of green smoothies for her kids, trying to incorporate more greens into their diet, and I wanted to do that with my children, and so she said the most important thing will be the blender.
Now, you've seen Tom Dixon pushing his blender to the limit by blending a rake handle, a whole chicken with a can of soda, or even a cubic zirconia. Now you know it can handle everyday blending without any problem.
For example, ice has been known as a blender killer. But in order to make a fresh fruit smoothie, ice is a pretty essential ingredient.
Well, now you can blaze through ice with the Total Blender without finding those yucky little chunks you often find with conventional blenders. And look at this. Ice blended in a Total Blender has now turned into snow. Imagine that being mixed into your fruit smoothie or frozen coffee. It's that easy.
We've gone through so many blenders, and it's so frustrating when you just want to make a simple smoothie, you throw some ice in there, and the blades won't turn, and you have to use a spoon to help it around. With a Total Blender, I've never had to do that.
I was with my nephew, and we made peanut butter and some soup and stuff like that, and I was just amazed because it seriously blended everything to smithereens.
You may be wondering, what is Smart Touch technology? Well, before we get to that, let's take a look at this jar. Now, this is not your normal jar. Blendtec is the only company to offer this patented four-sided jar. Now, this design creates a better vortex, which allows food to mix in the jar and more thoroughly blend the ingredients in your recipes. Inside this jar is a stainless steel blade. Now, the blades in most blenders are pointy and sharp, yet go dull in no time. In a Blendtec blender jar, you notice that the blade just isn't as sharp. I can put my hand on it and it doesn't hurt. The point is that it's not the sharpness of the blade itself, but the speed of the blade. And with the powerful 1,500 watt Blendtec motor, the tip speed of this blade can reach up to 300 miles per hour. That maintains a smooth blend in whatever recipe you produce. Now those tough blending jobs are a heck of a lot easier.
Now, how long should you blend, and how intense should that blend be? Those are questions that can make or break a recipe. To continue to understand Smart Touch technology, let's discuss blend cycles. A blend cycle refers to the length or time and speed of a blend, which can vary depending on what you're blending. Let me give you an example. When you make a fresh fruit smoothie, it's best to place the fruit in first and the ice last. When you push the smoothie button, you'll notice the blade spinning slow at first for the fruit and then speeding up at the end to blend the ice. Finally, when it's done, it stops on its own. This same blend cycle technology is applied to many recipes, making the blending process hassle-free and creating the perfect result every time.
I was at a fair making smoothies in a smoothie booth. We had a Blendtec blender and we had another kind of blender. The other kind kept heating up, so we kept having to run it over and let it sit in the freezer for 20 minutes and rotate through those blenders, and the Blendtecs worked all day long without a problem.
I was surprised that I could blend up all of these devices, phones and marbles and whatever, so we decided to get one. I haven't tried that and I don't plan on it, but we've just done food and it's actually done real well for us.
I spent probably over 15 hours doing research, reading testimonials, reading product specifications, warranties, checking up companies, before I finally decided that Blendtec, the Total Blender, was the best choice.
Well, now that you've seen the Total Blender in action, we don't want you to just take our word for it.
That's right. For example, Sean Phillips, fitness expert and creator of the Focus Intensity Training System, talks about blending his full-strength nutrition shake in a Blendtec blender.
The most used appliance in our house is the blender. And it's been that way for 15 years. I mean, that's what we use. This is truly a precision instrument. It's kind of like having an airplane on your counter. It's like it's all built, ready to go, and that thing, I mean, you know, it flies. And it's a 35-second blend cycle. So, you know, by the time I open a pack, add water, ice, you know, and blend, I'm less than a minute before I'm sitting back enjoying a full, complete, balanced meal. You can't do that anywhere.
Here is TV host, best-selling author, and 5-star certified executive chef Jay Warren.
If I turn a machine on, I expect it to do its job, and the Blendtec never let me down. It did it, it was done, it knew when it was done, and it stopped. It allows you to really do some things that you couldn't do before, and it allows you to do them better.
It's a total passion of mine to talk about good nutrition. I have a website called greensmoothiegirl.com, and on it I have a 12 Steps to Whole Foods program, and I teach people what they need to do 1 month at a time so that at the end of a year they have a whole foods lifestyle that includes lots and lots of plant foods and very low disease risk. I'm kind of a connoisseur of appliances, and I have a huge pantry full of appliances, but there's one that I use every single day, 5, 6, sometimes 7 times a day. I tell people that it is the best thing that I own. And I don't mean the best thing in my kitchen, I mean it's actually the best thing that I own. If they have one thing to change their nutrition, that's the thing they need to have. Blendtec Total Blender.
If you spend any time on the internet at all, you'll probably run across this gentleman, Tom Dixon. He is the CEO of Blendtec. He's also the star of the amazing Will It Blend videos. Nominated for Clio Awards, YouTube Awards, winner of .NET Magazine's Viral Video Campaign of the Year Award. These videos have been seen by literally millions of internet users all over the world.
That's right, and we are here on the set of Will It Blend with Tom. Tom, it is good to finally meet you.
It's good to meet you, both of you.
Thanks.
Okay, now be honest with me. Do you really blend up the things that you do on your videos?
Everything you've seen is true and correct. The Total Blender blended everything. Our entry-level machine. It's the most powerful blender in the world.
Cool.
Wow.
Will you blend something for us here today to prove this power?
Sure.
Okay.
What do you want to see?
Sleeve of golf balls?
How about a rake?
Ooh,
Ooh,
nice
so
touch.
do we need to stand back for that
You
or
need to
anything?
put your safety glasses on right here.
Match.
Okay.
Yeah. Now let me ask you, in the spirit of putting on safety goggles, why do we care that a blender like this can actually blend a rake handle in someone's home, for example?
If it'll do all of these extreme blends, you know it'll do the basic things. How many blenders won't even do ice, won't even blend ice or fruit? And how many blenders do you need to take a plunger and press down and force product down into the blade? Because the blade won't pull it down on its own. So we don't need that. We have the most powerful blender in the world.
And that's, as I recall, a 13 amp motor.
Correct.
You've got the Smart Touch technology, and of course you have a beautiful jar. I mean, that's frameable right there. I'm excited to see what's going to happen.
3 peak horsepower does the job.
Nice.
Wow, well, let's go ahead and get started.
Okay.
Let's blend up a rake handle. And by the way, please don't try this at home. Tom has done this hundreds of times. I think he's become quite a professional. So, Tom, take it away.
I actually got a phone call from one of my friends here and said, quick, they're putting a rake through a blender. I came running and couldn't believe what I saw.
I would never imagine that a blender could do that. It's kind of scary.
Brought a laptop into the dining room during Christmas and watched all of the Will It Blend videos.
I love Will It Blend. I think it is the greatest thing that has been put on YouTube.
Well, that's it. Hopefully you had a good time and learned a little something about blending as well.
And we've learned that blending is more than just sticking things in a blender and pushing the liquefy button. There's an actual art and science to it.
So we hope you enjoy the use of your new Blendtec product. For more information, log on to blendtec.com with recipes, product information, and more from Blendtec.